It's hard to believe it was a year ago yesterday that Hurricane Dorian made landfall in the Bahamas as a destructive major Category 5 hurricane. There's a look back at some of the file imagery. We have the file footage of Abaco Islands, Bahamas, where there is just complete destruction. And whenever a storm like this hits, the American Red Cross, they spring into action. And we want to talk to somebody from the American Red Cross located in the Bahamas, Holly Baker from the American Red Cross. Holly, thank you so much for joining us on Weather Nation. And again, looking back here, it is the anniversary, yesterday, official anniversary of the landfall of Hurricane Dorian. Can you kind of give us an update on how things are going right now with the recovery efforts? Obviously, this was a major destructive storm. A lot of the recovery efforts are probably still ongoing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a year since Hurricane Dorian came through as this huge, monstrous Category 5 storm, just leaving absolute destruction in its wake. So since that time, the American Red Cross has been here supporting the Bahamas Red Cross by providing those emergency needs that people have, handing out supplies in those days afterwards. And we also gave out cash to people. We gave out over $11 million to families so that they could spend it how they needed to help their families recover. We've since moved to giving people cash grants to help repair their homes. And we've been supporting small businesses, helping them get back on their feet. And we're supporting and expanding the workforce here at the Bahamas Red Cross so that they can be prepared for whatever storms come our way next.
And that leads me into my next question. The American Red Cross, they see a storm. It's getting ready to hit, a country, an area very hard. Kind of take us through the step-by-step process. What does the Red Cross do? Obviously, you guys spring into action right away. Can you kind of take us through the process of how you start to get things going for the recovery process?
Absolutely. So we work really closely with Red Cross organizations around the world, including here in the Bahamas. So when a storm came through like Dorian, we were on the ground within days supporting the local Red Cross and bringing additional volunteers here to be able to respond. Like with Dorian, we saw that the needs were immediate assistance in terms of supplies and helping support the local government in terms of sheltering people and providing places for people to go so that they could feel safe. Now we're looking at the big picture. We're looking at the long term now, and we're supporting people so that they can help repair their homes. Like I've been to both Abaco and Grand Bahama and just heard so many stories from people who were there and lived through that storm and are now working to come back even better than before. So it's really a pretty in-depth process, and we're going to be here for as long as needed in terms of Dorian, and we're always at the ready. We're always in standby mode to be able to respond to disasters of all sizes. That includes home fires and hurricanes and flooding, and the list really goes on because the American Red Cross works to be there and make sure that we're prepared to help respond and make sure that people have a place to go and that they know they have an organization looking out for them.
And maybe somebody at home watching right now, they want to help out the Red Cross. They want to help out with the recovery efforts, whether it's from Dorian or another storm. What can people do at home to help the Red Cross with this recovery process?
Absolutely. So at this point, it's really important to make sure that you have your own personal emergency plan in place. And you can help out the Red Cross by making sure that you are ready in the event of a disaster. You've got your emergency kit ready to go. And you're also factoring into it this new COVID-19 narrative. Maybe you have hand sanitizer and face masks, and you've got the Red Cross app downloaded to your phone so you know where shelters are in the event you needed to go to one. So you can just make sure you've got yourself as best and in the best possible position in the event that you were affected by a storm or by a disaster. It's really amazing. The generosity of people is what makes it possible for us to do this work. Like I said, I've met so many people who were here through this storm, and I just hear story after story of people who lived through this monstrous storm. I met a woman in Grand Bahama who was in her home with her family taking shelter when Dorian passed over them. And she says she can remember the sounds of her roof being pulled away. But the Red Cross was able to help her and give her money to be able to repair her home. And she says that was the first thing that she did, was make sure she got that roof repaired, her walls repaired, so that she was better prepared for this hurricane season, which, as we've seen so far, has been very, very active. So
absolutely. It has been very
Yeah.
active. And Holly, I'm kind of curious again, kind of going back to that, within the last year from when Dorian hit to how things are, how is the recovery process coming along? How are things shaping up there in the Bahamas? I mean, it looks beautiful where you're at right now, but we still know there's a lot of recovery going on across the islands.
Absolutely. I mean, Dorian was a huge, huge, monstrous storm. And everyone I've talked to has said that they had been through storms before. They'd seen plenty of hurricanes before, but nothing like this. So the recovery is ongoing and it's continuing despite the challenges presented by COVID-19. Because we are prepared to adapt and we've made changes that we need to be able to keep the work going. So keeping everybody safe in terms of our workforce, as well as the people that we serve, is a main priority. But we've been able to continue on and be able to deliver that help that people need in terms of providing money to people to repair homes or providing this support to local businesses that have really seen a lot because of storms and now the virus. So it's being there to provide the help that's needed and being there to propel it forward. And that's what we're going to continue to do. We're going to be here for as long as we need to make sure that the recovery can keep going and that we're supporting the Bahamas Red Cross so that they can continue the work that they've been here doing the whole time as well.
That's Holly Baker from the American Red Cross in the Bahamas. We appreciate you joining us on Weather Nation, Holly. Really good catching up with you and hearing of people getting recovered and the recovery process moving along. And we appreciate the American Red Cross and all the hard work you and all your fellow co-workers do for a situation like we were seeing there into that part of the Bahamas. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And we are going to just quickly take a look here at the tropics because we do have some active conditions. We're watching a few areas into the eastern Atlantic, and then Omar and Nana continuing to bring impacts to the Caribbean and to the northern areas of the Atlantic. Don't go anywhere. There's more Weather Nation coming up. Keep it here.